Warming up, warming up. More beer, better warming up.
What is that piece you guys were just playing?
It's called, I don't know how to use it.
The light is out.
Yeah.
So it was dark and the light is out.
Though that means like the shining light or something like that. It's written by Marcel Khalifa.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I've been listening to him a lot.
Oh, really?
So what songs are you playing with us?
Whatever you like.
Well, let's warm up with that. Come, let's warm up with this.
Let me grab it. Hang on, let me grab the guitar.
For God's sakes, Nick.
I get to play with Ali sometimes, so maybe it's like similar.
You said you have your beer closer, so you don't have to walk
It's
away.
better, it stays cold. No, it has a sponge, it has a towel underneath it, so I don't want to make a mess.
Actually, this scale for that song has got 1/4 tone in it.
It's okay.
The C note is a quarter tone. No, actually, it's not C note. No. We could do it without any quarter tone.
I know. What song is he playing?
You wanted to practice this one here?
That's the one?
Yeah.
That's the note? You sing those
No.
notes? No, he practiced the notes that you sing.
I know. Okay. The one that, the ones that I sent you was one called El Wadi.
Okay.
And the other one was called, what is it? Where is it here? لما بدأ يتفنى.
I still hear your text.
Yeah.
And you sent him.
Yeah.
It's good text on my side reading.
know this. I know you do. لما بدأت
Yeah, لما
Yeah, you have your piece with you.
Why don't you just have your instrument always with you in your car? Huh?
Then it will
Unfortunately, the problem, yeah,
it will
there's a problem
cease to
with
be
that.
an
One
instrument.
is
Temperature.
the skin,
Yeah.
yeah, breaks the skin.
Yeah.
And the other problem is we have some in my neighborhood. There are some people who are interested in seeing what's in your
Yeah.
house. Happened a few times. Some
Yeah.
people are curious. Curious. Like literally back and ask, hey, this is like what it looks like. I didn't think it. I just put the change. That was it.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Nice. This. Isn't that a beautiful piece?
It is beautiful.
I'm telling you, it's so simple.
Does that one have lyrics? Does it have words?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, it
I
does.
tried to.
Yeah.
I know just a few words. Like,
Yeah. لما بديت الفنان.
yeah.
That's all I know.
And what does it mean?
It means when she started swaying.
Yeah.
When she began swaying,
Swaying. Yeah.
the whole world just got lost. I mean, when she's meaning she's dancing and moving and curving and swaying and all that. You know, the public that were watching just lost their
Now,
minds.
whenever you guys are ready, I mean, because I'm going to be explaining what a little bit of the history of that song and
No,
how
but-
old it is.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but we're waiting on many people
Yeah.
to come, right? On a few.
Yes.
Oh, well, we can
That's
practice
okay,
this
we
song.
can wait.
Let's play this song
Yeah.
together as a warm up. You know, we don't have. Yeah.
People will trail in it.
Yeah.
There's more. It's fine.
Yeah. like that, you're good.
That's a beautiful song. That's very beautiful.
You know how old that song is? It's close to about 1,000 years old.
Antique.
Very antique.
And are there words to it?
Oh, there is words, yeah.
So it was all written in words and music together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gypsies in Spain adore this song.
Mhm.
They play it all the time on their guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This song was written during the Andalusian times of Spain.
So,
And when the Moors were in Spain, that's when it was written.
so yeah.
So there's in the flamenco music and flamenco culture, there's a lot that's borrowed from the Middle East.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the flamenco. The flamenco is a mix of gypsy dancing with the Arabic dancing. The Inquisition was starting, and a lot of the Muslims, when they left Spain, there was a lot that stayed in, but they went into the mountains with the gypsies, and so they mixed with them.
Yeah, I finally got to see the Gypsy Kings with my mom
Yeah.
on Saturday, and
yeah.
it's not for flamenco, but it's fusion.
Yeah,
And it's really, really cool, but it got me thinking to, the Polynesians, they have complicated clapping.
Yeah.
Like that. So, yesterday I was in here with my students, we were watching Polynesian videos, trying to learn how to do it. It's actually pretty complicated.
It is complicated.
Oh, it is complicated.
Two people clapping in agreements, that's not improvisation. That is here's this kind of song, so you clap in this way. I'll be the on, you be the embellishment. It's pretty damn
Makes
cool.
sense why I could listen to beat them.
There are professional palomero. Palomero is you're a clapper in Spain. So that could be your what
Professional
do you play?
clapper.
I just clap.
Wow.
So you're when you're a really good flamenco guitar player, you're higher you're really good vocalist. Clap for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Professional clapper.
That's what I'm gonna strive for it.
You should have clapping classes.
Yes.
I wonder, I could be the only palomero in Cincinnati. We're gonna quarter the market on clapping.
Wow. That's
It's
amazing.
like clap for people who want it.
And then they do that, yeah.
And that's a pretty heavy snapping. You might have to...
I use all my 10 fingers to do this.
Yeah, so like I said, it's a very old song.
And how is the instrument itself? The oud? How old is the instrument itself?
The oud itself is about 5,000 years old. Yeah. It started out from a Persian instrument called the barbat. And about I don't know, I think in the 7th century or the 8th century, I forget the guy's name here. His name was...
Khomeini.
a guy...
I'm the only one that got the joke.
Khomeini, guys. Don't you remember Khomeini? In the 80s?
Oh, we're not talking about we're talking about food.
A guy by the name of...
Like Donald Trump. Can you
During
imagine
the
saying
7th,
Trump is responsible for everything?
Exactly.
For the old too.
Like I said before, the oud originated from a Persian instrument called the barbat. The barbat was a smaller instrument. It had 4 strings onto it, and it had originally it had a skin face.
Yeah.
About the 7th century, there was a guy named Mansur Zelzel from Iraq or something, and he took the instrument, he enlarged it, he added a wooden face to it, and called it el-oud. El-oud actually means a piece of wood, because he put a wooden face to it, called it with a piece of wood. So that's what el-oud means. It's just a piece of wood.
What would the wood have been?
What's that?
What kind of wood would he have used?
The different types, depending on the area. Like for example,
Back then, plywood. We used plywood.
a lot of woods made with the spruce or oak. spruce or oak or whatever type of wood that was available at the time.
I forgot to put on the description that he says your comic relief.
I'm trying to be a little serious. I'm blowing
And it was caused by your beard.
You just tell me when you need more. I'll go and fetch for either of you.
Thank you, sweetie. I'm playing.
Actually, I could use a level 10 from that one.
Do you want me to go grab you?
If you don't mind.
No, I do not mind at all.
Basim, as I said, I didn't remember that the shape of the sound hole, or the first sound hole. Is there any reason why it would be
Just for aesthetics.
Slanted?
yeah
Aesthetics.
Look at
Just for aesthetics.
It is.
Normally ouds, either they will have like one hole in the middle, or they'll have like one hole and then two, like one on this side and one on that side.
Mm-hmm.
But this time it was just for aesthetic reasons. But I'm thinking,
because you'll have to wonder if it has something to do with the basics, like there's moving that sample a little bit closer to like the center.
I think the reason why he had this, this sound hole was made in an oval shape like this, was because, like for example, on the harmonics, at the edge over here, you play a harmonic. Where is it here? And then over here, at the end of it, there's the other harmonics. So I'm thinking that's why he made the hole like this, in order, so that way it aligns with the harmonics.
Yeah.
Growing up, my father was a furniture maker and wood maker.
Okay.
Yeah, he made those. As a matter of fact, he sold Basim one. When was it? In the 80s?
Yeah.
In the 80s, but Basim got drunk and broke it. But
You guys have known each other that long?
oh
yeah.
Known him, yeah. For how long?
You gotta feel sorry for him.
36 years. I've known this guy for 36 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
36 years.
Of hell, right? No joke. My father was a wood maker, and all of his ouds have major hole in the middle,
Yeah.
and then one here and one here. So that's the typical, general wood making was for hundreds of years. This one is just more artistic, in my opinion. I don't think it has musical value to it. My humble opinion. But
Exactly. I think it's just for aesthetics, just
It's
something
aesthetic.
different.
Is the darker piece of wood that's underneath the strings, is that for a dampening effect?
Darker.
The roundish piece of wood right
This one
here.
right here?
Yeah.
This one here. That's
Yeah.
just for design, especially because this is where we're playing mostly, so that
So
way
it's
it
kinda
doesn't
like a
scratch.
safeguard?
Yeah.
it protects this
Yeah, it protects
part
the
right
wood.
there.
Gotcha.
Because you scratch the hell out of it all the time.
Right.
Are we supposed to, can we say
Sure,
hell?
sure.
See the scratch.
A
The heck?
little light cursing is
Yeah, like
fine.
cursing is fine. Okay. Wanted to know, right?
I can put your next beer when you get too much. I put your next beer right down there.
Thanks. Thanks.
Do you have any of your dad's old ouds that he made?
I was hoping that Basim would. You still have it? No?
No.
The broken one?
The broken, yeah. You don't have any.
it really, it broke into pieces.
What are you trying to say? That my dad doesn't make the roads?
No. I think I sat on it by accident.
Used by alcohol. Yeah.
Too much.
Like the end of one of your rock concerts.
Yeah. That's before the kids were born, would go out after.
I'm still trying to negotiate with the boss how I can.
What's that?
With the boss how I can get my first one.
Well,
Oh.
if you weren't negotiating so many other purchases at the same time, but this is one purchase of these.
How long have we been looking for it? Or how long?
We've been talking about it for a while. I don't know.
My nephew, I want that. No, I want that. I want that. Every time the TV's on.
So, Nick, the question is, what other things are you trying to ask for besides
The
you?
morning after the Gypsy Kings concert, he woke up and he said, "Remember that old Chet Atkins, the nylon string?"
Yeah.
And
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm going to start looking for one again." I'm
No,
like,
no.
I
"Okay."
like the smile. I can tell you.
you told me you wanted it.
You're not a good liar.
It's not gross porn.
Guitar porn is better than actual porn.
Guitar porn.
Actually, next time,
That's a healthy.
Dustin goes
kind
to
of-
Jordan, you need to go with him. This way you get to pick the best oud over there.
Well, you guys were there last year. You guys were in Jordan.
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Or was it 2 years ago? That was last year. You were there with your mom. Yeah. Where's your mom tonight? Just hanging at home?
Yeah, she's busy and just tired. So.
She's heard
Exhausted.
Boston play.
Huh?
She's heard Boston play music.
She said, just go and
And don't come back.
give me some rest.
And
Give me some rest.
for me because we're not playing at home tonight.
Yeah. I don't have to take any Tylenols tonight. So, yeah. You've been talking about for a while that you need a oud. We need to hook you up with
Yeah,
an
we
oud.
need to hook you up with
Yeah.
one.
Really.
You can't like go down to like the local guitar shop and grab one either.
No, it would be, I would feel best if the next time one of our international friends traveled, if I trust
Grab
them.
one.
Yeah, we give you the monies and you bring back something for him.
Well, that sounds kind of illegal. Give you the money, bring back something.
I meant
If
you.
he gives me the money, I'll bring back
Remember that
hashish for
coffee? I
it.
also think she's like the dog.
I know. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Give me the money. I'll take care of it. I'll bring lots of hashish.
Done
Give
and
back.
done.
Maybe before getting yourself an oud, you need to get yourself a guitar that has the extra frets on it for
Yeah,
quarter tone.
yeah, Ibanez, yeah.
Yeah.
Ibanez, they have the.
Are you putting more things on the list?
And then they also have a fretless one.
Yeah.
Salman, I think Salman with the Japanese company, he managed to
No, that was Kamal Musallam.
Kamal Sallam. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's another question.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for our local guitar players, we would say that you're in the key of D, so you're like in a D.
Yeah.
Is most of the music in one key, kind of like sitar music is?
No, I mean, most of them they're in the minor keys. I mean, you have some that are in the major. I mean, we're gonna play I'm gonna, if we have some time today, I'll play a piece that's in the major.
Okay.
You know. But even the quarter tone scales, they're in the minor scale. You know.
It is incredibly intricate. Is the piece at the bottom on a bridge? Is the piece at the bottom on a bridge?
This
Yeah.
piece here.
That is,
Yeah,
that
it's a
is
bridge.
really intricate and pretty.
Oh yeah, I mean they always they go the extra mile on the bridge to make it like a nice design. And things
Uh-huh.
like that.
So who taught you and how long have you been playing?
I pretty much taught myself. I mean, but I had an uncle that played the oud, and once in a blue moon maybe we'd get together. But before the oud, I was playing the guitar.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were
One
a
day,
guitar
my
player.
dad. At that time, he wasn't my brother-in-law, but he went back overseas, and my dad gave him some money and told him just get us an oud. My dad was thinking, okay, he just wants to hang it up on the wall as a design or something. But the minute they got it, I grabbed it and I started fiddling with it, and then I started to become more and more interested in the oud than the guitar, which that had its positives and negatives, because to be a multi-instrumentalist is much better than just playing on one instrument. But my passion grew for this instrument. It was stronger than the guitar. And I didn't start regretting it until later that maybe I should have stuck with the guitar as well, My late brother was telling me, don't leave the guitar, don't leave the guitar.
Do you feel like playing the guitar and the oud, like you get confused going back and forth? 'Cause I kind of feel
No.
like that. Like I have a lot of my students have gotten really good at the ukulele,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like every time I touch the ukulele, I
Yeah.
get like worse at it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like if I play it enough, I'll eventually forget how to write my name. It's like sucking my brain out through my fingers.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Well, you see, I mean, there's this Jordanian musician named Kamal Musallam. His forte is mostly jazz with Middle Eastern and stuff like that. And he plays the oud, he plays electric guitar, he plays acoustic guitar as well. And there's no, I mean, there's no confusion.
So there's some good news that Marcus Carr just texted me. Do you see?
Yeah, I see. Something else to buy. Is
No,
what I
but
see.
do you see who makes it? It's Godin.
I know.
An electric oud.
Oh yeah, that's by Godin.
Problem solved.
How much is it?
I don't know. Does that part matter?
That's the same one. That's the same one that Yusuf has.
That was such a little kid thing to say. Does that matter?
Oh, yeah.
Boston, how many strings are on that thing?
12. They're grouped in 6.
Okay. And
But
then
you know, I mean, the top string is normally like maybe a single string. I mean, you can have an extra string, but usually a lot of the musicians don't have an extra string. It's just like a bass thing, you know, mostly.
and that's interesting. So your lowest string is down to E as well.
Yeah,
So do you tune yours more like your guitars, or is that a pretty common?
it's like the guitar, but it's like, you know, tuning it, you know, like all of it on the 5th fret.
Instead of the E
Yeah,
and D string.
E, A, D, G, C, F.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Which that's become like a popular tuning for the oud in the Middle East, like in Lebanon, Syria, Palestine, Jordan, and things like that. But there are other various tunings as well too,
And is it,
depending on the region.
so like, would you say that the tuning that you're in is common for like in places?
Yeah,
like
it's common.
Jordan?
Yeah.
What would be like a region that would use a more uncommon tuning?
A different type of tuning. Instead of E, A, D, G, C, and F, I got something here written down. You would find tunings like C, F, A, D, G, C, or like D, G, A, D, G, C, or C, E, A, D, G, C, or there's an F, A, D, G, C, F.
So the E string all the way down to C.
Yeah.
And you guys have different gauges of strings that you can.
Yeah.
Because if you're down in C, I guess
Yeah.
you want the heavier gauge.
Exactly.
So we're relearning the alphabet, it seems to me.
Right.
Yeah. Good. That's it.
E, A, D, G, C, F. And like I was saying, I mean, it depends on the region. You know, like for example, in Iraq, you know, a lot of people over there may have different tunings. But I just find this easier. Like for example, you want to play with a piano player. You want to play with a guitar player. You
It's the
know.
piano behind you.
So it's like the contemporary tuning.
Yeah, it's a
like
contemporary.
The more hip tuning.
Yeah.
So, well, Marcus here, he's from Iraq.
Yeah.
And Marcel Khalif is from
Lebanon.
Is Lebanon.
Yeah.
So who else should I be listening to?
There's Nasir Shamma, Naseer Shamma, Shamma. He's also Iraqi, but he's based out of Egypt. He's one guy to be listening to. There's another guy, I think he's located here now. His name is Kinan, Kinan, Adnawi, Adnawi. He performed various times with Marcel Khalifa. I think he's Syrian.
My favorite song that they do, and I think it must be a big song because I've heard it multiple ways. Is it called My Mother? Or My
Yeah.
Mother?
Oh, you love
Yeah.
that?
I
Yeah.
love that song.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And that's all in there's no quarter tones in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
another. Now,
No.
what do you think of his oud playing? The guy that sings My Mother.
It's Marcel Khalifa doing
It's
it.
Marcel
an old
Khalifa.
recording. It's a
Yeah.
recording from like 1983.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my favorite oud player.
Yeah, I love him.
Seriously, he is. I mean, everybody else that
Yeah.
Bassem told you about, ignore. Right?
Ignore, yeah.
Ignore.
There's only Marcel.
Marcel
Marcel
Khalifa.
Khalifa is just, he owns the oud, and I believe the oud owns him. They're just
What
Are you
Marcel
familiar with him? No.
What Marcel Khalifa does All right. I mean,
It's our fault, actually.
he's very passionate. He adds that passion. He adds that emotion into his playing. You know, he's got a lot of pieces that are, you know, he can jump between playing a little bit hard and fast to actually playing soft and just, you know, he gets you to feel the song or the music. The other guys, they are very technical. They're great. They're great at their craft.
Very technical, very
You know,
fast.
Omar Bashir did a version of Mediterranean Sundance
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
And he did it with the, I think...
with another guitar player.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty
Yeah.
darn good.
Yeah.
Nasir Shemma also, he is
Technical.
very technical, and more technical than Omar Bashir.
Now that doesn't turn me on at all.
The fireworks?
The fireworks and
Yeah.
the technicality and all, I don't feel it here.
Mhm.
So you see, I don't have to be listening to highly technical player to be able to feel the warmth and the roof, you know. And Marcel does that to me. I just something
Yeah.
is magic about his hands that his emphasis is not on the technicality. His emphasis is just getting closer to your
Closer
soul,
to the music,
to the
closer to
soul,
the
to
song.
the heart.
Yeah.
And I just, you know,
Yeah.
dive into that playing of his. And you mentioned a very, very good piece. The next one, listen to Rita. Rita.
Yeah, Rita.
What does that translate to? Or is it literally?
Rita is her name.
Yeah, Rita. Yeah.
Rita is her name.
I mean, there's like a.
It's not the Beatles song. Like,
No.
Rita?
No.
It's
Because that would be weird.
it was a poem.
That's
It was a poem.
Yeah. Paul McCartney stole it from myself.
It was a poem written by a Palestinian poet named Mahmoud Darwish. And Rita, there's actually a couple of different meanings to it. You know, there was one meaning where they said that he fell in love with an Israeli Jewish lady, and he couldn't be with her, and her name was Rita. All right. And there was another one that said that Rita represented Palestine. So when he says that between me and my eyes, between Rita's eyes and mine is a rifle. So there's something keeping them away from each other, you know. And it's a sad, but it's a beautiful song that he wrote about.
Music in there.
Yeah.
If you like Ummi, if you like my mother, right?
Yeah. Oh, you love Rita.
Love Rita. It just, you know, they played by him when he first started in the 70s. He wrote that in the 70s, and his playing was at his peak back then. You know, just watch that playing; it's amazing. In my opinion, he's the best oud player in the world. In my humble opinion, Marcel. Bassem doesn't think so.
I thought you were saying Bassem.
What are you getting at? What are you getting at?
Bassem thinks
What
that
are
I am
you getting
the
at?
best
I think you're having too much beer.
Hello, come on in.
I think you're drinking too much beer.
Yeah. Okay, actually, we just pull that one over. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just pull it over.
Made it, guys.
Hi,
Hey guys.
Nice to meet you.
There's would you like a beer? Would you like anything?
Yes, beer in the fridge. Help
Yeah.
yourself.
I got it. Take over, Pumpkin.
Pumpkin take over.
So are there certain instruments that usually are played with this? Kind of like a tambourine or guitar?
Tambourine, doumbek. I brought the lightest one. Usually they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Flute, bass. You have to have a bass. What else? Let's say. Those are the basic 4 instruments for an average Middle Eastern band.
Okay, I'm just curious because I haven't really been exposed to
Yeah.
4-1 instruments. Kind of like.
The flute usually is made from the sugar cane. Seriously, the sugar cane, pipe. They drill holes in it, or they burn actually holes in it. And if you've listened to Led Zeppelin, when he had the Egyptian band and the classical music band, that instrument was the star in that.
Yeah.
And then, doumbek, durbaki, and tambourine, and what else? Bass, you have to have a bass. Violin also, violin. And you have to have a belly dancer for people that, you know, will get drunk and then, you know, especially old men. Oh, yeah, look at that belly dance. So, belly dancing, right? Belly dancing is big in that part of the world. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Belly dancing.
Not very common in my country, though.
But in the
Because dances, you know.
Dances.
In my country.
Egypt, big on belly dancing. Lebanon, big on the...
Arabic dancing.
Yeah.
That's-
It's the emphasis on the belly movement, right?
I'm gonna belly dance later.
That's a sack. That's a separate segment.
Hey, you don't have to pay for that.
That's okay.
You don't have to pay for that. Yeah, you can do it for free.
I'm having trouble restraining myself.
That could be your gateway to Arabic music.
Seriously?
What if I was like really good at a natural talent for belly dancing? What would we do?
Natural talent.
There are a couple of like belly dancing groups.
I have a gig on Jimmy Fallon something. I wish I didn't.
Flamenco is actually a mix of belly dancing with gypsy dancing.
I can see that. Even in that, like in the dress too.
Yeah.
Costuming, the presentation.
Yeah.
Because you have to plot for the dancers, you know, for the belly dancers.
The word-
So I believe that's where it came from.
The word flamenco is a breakdown of an Arabic word and a gypsy word.
No kidding.
Fallah, flamenco from fallah, which is an Arab for peasant,
Peasant.
and mango, from it was a gypsy word.
Word.
Fallah,
So it's a
mango,
combination
which
of both.
they combined it.
Very cool.
Peasant.
Also, I mean, if you take a look at the flamenco dancing, I mean, if you really take a look at it, there's a little bit of a resemblance to Indian dancing in it too.
So,
Which would make sense too, right?
Because the
they
gypsies,
do-
the Roma, originated from India.
yeah. Gypsies, that's where they came from.
Yeah.
India. So, and they're talented musicians, aren't they?
Mhm.
Very popular.
Gypsies everywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
And well, you know, Paco
Paco de
Lucia.
Paco de Lucia was actually, you know, even though it sounded very pure to us, for the purest of flamenco,
Yeah.
he was still outside the box. So,
Oh.
like the guys in Andalusia and stuff like that, they respected what he was doing, but
Yeah.
they didn't like.
They didn't like it.
They didn't get it.
They
Yeah,
did
they
not
didn't.
get
For him,
Yeah.
that was the guy. That's for. He would be like what do you call it? Speed caravan,
Yeah.
right? The guy
Yeah.
playing like with
The electric
pedal
oud.
and stuff like
The
that.
electric oud,
It's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
For the rest of the world,
Yeah.
I think it's really good for the booth
Yeah.
because you know anybody will hear that and go, "What in the hell is that?" And then they'll see it,
It's a different way to present yourself. You know?
and then you know, and just to bring to bring notoriety to the instrument.
Yeah.
But it's not the old way.
Did you ever hear there's a piece of music by Paco de Lucia called El Moriema?
I don't know, maybe.
He used the oud in there. He played the oud.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he played the oud in there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would guess that.
Just
Probably
on,
pretty
just on,
good at
a,
it, too.
just on a little part of it, he played the oud.
So you said your dad built boots?
He did. He made them from scratch.
Do you play?
I do not.
You do not.
He hit me so hard growing up. No joke, guys. He said, "You touch any musical." We had musical instruments. This was on the cupboard all the time. Okay, ouds were because he was tuning them and selling them. And he said, "You touch any of these instruments, I'll beat you up." So I did not believe this, right? So I went and I touched one of his ouds, and he broke it on me. He said, "You are gonna become either a doctor or engineer, but not a musician. So don't touch any instrument." So you rebel, right? So you
Right.
rebel. I mean, taboo, right? So that's where I fell in love with
I was
this.
going to ask you guys
Yeah.
for your inspiration to become musicians.
That's
I don't know.
that's his beating.
It's from
His
a
beating.
place.
His beating. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, are you talking about whether Jordan or Palestine or Syria and these places, you know, where there's a lot of poverty, and it's very difficult, very hard. I mean, for a person who wants to be a musician
To make a
to
living.
make it there.
Yeah.
And if they do make it, they struggle for years before they actually do make it. You know,
So you have your parents who want to protect you.
they want to protect you. They say you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be
Forbidden.
whatever
Because
engineer,
that's what was the
or get into a business.
socioeconomics up there, engineer or a doctor. So that is acceptable in that society, and that's what will make money. But musician, you'll be poor for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Now, if he stayed musician, probably would have been, on the street homeless. So he made him. He had to teach himself how to make him
Make
and
the
sell them.
instruments and sell them. Be a businessman.
To be, so you see, he was tuning them and playing them and teaching. He was teaching them on the street.
He had the love for the instrument.
He did.
Yeah.
But
But
he
poverty.
didn't want you to
We
have
wanted
it.
bread. We don't want music. We want bread, for God's sake.
Yeah.
So he said, if you want bread, stay away from those instruments. But then again,
But here we are.
But,
Could you show us the instrument that you're playing?
the instrument, this is Algerian instrument. This goes back pre-Khomeini, actually. This was made by Donald Trump. He made that. Yes. This is
It's small.
it's very small because the reason it's small because Algerian musicians would hold it like this and play it while they are walking for the belly dancers, so they can follow the belly dancers, right? The contemporary ones right now, thanks to technology, is not made from clay anymore or goat skin anymore. That could be sheep skin, goat skin.
Plastic.
The most expensive one was a very specialized fish skin. So they will find that big fish, dry the skin, and then put it as a cover, and that will give the crispiest sound to the drum. Yeah.
Are those breaded at all?
No, they will sand that. Otherwise, your fingers will have all kinds of crap in them, right? And you will not be able to play. Right? So they get rid of this, right? Smooth it, becomes very, very thin. But again, thanks to technology, this is made from a copper, aluminum, and plastic. And the way you tighten this, wood screws. Last time I was here, if you go back to the archives, we have archives here, right? If you go back to the archives, you will see the original drum that I brought here. It was aluminum, and you tighten it with screw. Guess how I have to tighten this? I brought a heating pan with me, right?
Oh yeah, did you see that?
It's a heating pad right there.
Yeah, the skin.
And without this, because of humidity, right, the skin will bow in, and I would not hear any of the boom or you would not hear any of that, because humidity and skin, it will wrinkle the skin. So for the beautiful ladies here, stay away from humidity, right? Your skin will be tight all the time.
Now
That's a good tip, isn't it, Nate?
It's a good tip.
Yeah, that's a good tip. So here you go, pass it by. Don't break it, I'll kill you if you break it.
All right. Should we start?
Well, we always find out.
Well, he just gave away his time now.
God's sakes. God's sakes, pass it. It's my drum. I guess
So
our hit.
far, we've been
Huh?
in a class so far. Before we got. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of good with this.
We are ready now?
Oh, no, my brother used. My brother plays Persian tombak, and
Yeah.
he started with these like from
Well,
play.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So it's not officially taught in Iran. Like no one officially plays this. So
Yeah.
it has to start back to start playing tombak,
Right.
and then that. But
Yeah, and
so we had a couple of these like.
I saw them. I think Farhat brought one time. It's very difficult to play. The emphasis with the Persian is on the fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The emphasis in the Middle Eastern music is on the hands. So the speed of the hands versus the speed of the fingers. And the best drummers are the ones that master both.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
You're allowed only 10 beats, okay? Not more. Leave some for the rest.
Do you need another beer, sir?
What are you drinking right
Where?
now?
I've got a cougar, but I can go get you another true. You want cougar?
Now, is it true that
You want that? Okay.
Ali,
I'm gonna go grab
in
it.
Iran, the oud is still called the barbat, isn't it?
No, it's Oud mostly.
It's Oud now?
Actually, we know it more.
Because every time I look it up, online, it says that
It is. We know it as Oud.
yeah.
Sometimes when
Yeah.
people if you say Barat, they don't know what you're
They don't
talking
know
about.
because that's the ancient instrument. Thank you very much for your support.
Are you good on beer?
Can I put it right here somewhere?
I can use
Am I
another
allowed to put
one.
it right here? No, I can't.
Same one. Same one.
Sure, I'm sure.
How do you like that drum?
That thing for it.
No, it's just a drum.
Oh, this is drum? Hey, I cannot mess up the drum.
Once you sit on it, you know, it's pretty tough.
Okay.
That is a drum, exactly. That one right there.
Go on.
Cuban.
South America.
South America.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. So, already?
There's this one. Thanks, appreciate it. There's this one musician. Her name is what is it? Azam Ali. Azam Ali, a lady.
Okay.
And she performed with a band with a group called Niyaz. Niyaz.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And one song that she did a song for Marcel Khalifa
Oh,
in there, and she did a fantastic job.
Yeah. Was she?
She's Persian, yeah, she's Iranian.
She's
Yeah,
Iranian. I'll tell
yeah, I
you
mean,
Iranian.
she does both. On that song, of course, she sang it in Arabic, but she also, she does a lot of Iranian songs, and she does every once in a while she'll do like Turkish songs. They're based out of Canada. Niyaz, Niyaz.
Yeah, I heard that.
Niyaz means
Niyaz.
You forgot your Persian, don't you? Means good.
needy. Niyaz.
Means
Needy?
Need.
Need. Yeah. Not needy, but you need something.
Need. The
Yeah.
need itself.
Yeah,
is
the
niyaz.
need itself, yeah.
So, we're ready?
Ready.
You ready, buddy? Go ahead.
All right, now, I mean, I think already half of this we've already talked about.
So repeat the damn thing.
We'll repeat it. All right, now. You see, the oud is often called, or it used to be called, the king of instruments, because the oud to Arabic, to Middle Eastern music is like what the piano is to classical, what the electric guitar is to rock music. It is the main instrument that every Arabic band has, where music is written on, and it's transposed or given to other instruments. The oud itself is about, like I said before, 3,500 years old. It originated from the Persian instrument called the barbat, which later on, I believe it was in the 7th century, by Donald Trump.
Get a kick out of that.
What's his name? The Al-Zalzal. He converted it. He took the instrument of the barbat, and he made it larger. He made it larger from the back, from the top, and so forth. And he added a wooden face to it, and changed the name from barbat to al-oud, which means a piece of wood. And as a matter of fact, for quite a while, even afterwards, the barbat and the oud were used side by side, until gradually the oud was, replaced it. Now, then the oud became the major instrument for music, and when it reached into Andalusia, Spain, it reached what they called like mythic levels. Every song, everything was written on that instrument. As a matter of fact, a famous Arab musician that was in Spain at that time, Ziryab, he wrote a famous piece called, what was it called? لما بدأ يتثنى, which means as she sways. And he added the 5th course of string to it. And now, maybe we should play the song.
And so, Bassett, I'm looking at your right hand, and I'm remembering a little bit. You're telling me that traditional players they used to play with the quill of a feather, right?
They used to play with a feather at the time.
Right, and so they would hold the entire thing.
Yeah.
So yours is like a synthetic.
It's synthetic. It's plastic.
So you see how it
See, at that time,
Yeah.
and all the way up until the early part of the 20th century, the strings were out of gut strings. They were gut strings. But, I mean, gut strings, yeah, they give fantastic sound, but you play a few songs on it and you have to change the strings. That's how they just get whacked out. So plastic replaced the gut strings, and they're a lot more durable. And with the feather same thing. I mean, how many times are you going to go pluck a feather out of a bird?
That's why wood players in general back then, they smelled so bad. Because they got strings and feather, you know.
It became a lot easier. I mean, and there's a lot of different versions of the plectrum.
Oh, you're a wood player. Oh, yeah.
They call this a plectrum. You know, unlike the guitar pick, they call this a plectrum. This is a little tougher, so it gives like a softer sound. They have ones that are softer, so that gives like a sharper sound. I could have brought a couple with me, but I didn't. You know, and so all the way up until the early part of the 20th century, it was always a 5-string and 5 sets of strings. It wasn't until the early part of the 20th century that a 6th string was added, and I believe that was Farid al-Atrash that added or he had somebody add the 6th string.
It's the 20th century.
Early part of the 20th century.
You said a course of strings, so course means 2.
2, yeah.
Okay, and then
2.
and then on the very top, is it?
I have a
just
single
one
string,
single
but
string?
you can have, I mean, you can have a double string.
You could do
But
two.
mostly the top string is mostly used as like a drone or a bass or something. Sometimes, you know, they'll go up there and play something.
Would 2 strings make it too dominant of a sound?
Too dominant, yeah. It's supposed to be softer.
So I did favor.
That string. Marcel Khalifa loves that string.
Well, Marcel Khalifa,
He loves that string.
his tuning is unlike this one. Like, for example, this is E, A, D, G, C, F. He has the bottom note tuned to a C.
Way down.
Yeah, way down. So it's instead of E, A, D, G, C, and F, this is C, and then it goes all the way back up, so that way he gets a more deeper tone.
So is it C to C? Well, C on
C
both
to C,
ends?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, C to C.
C to shining C.
So he gets like he gets more of a bass. He gets more of a bass than this tuning does. Yeah.
In his career, I mean, is that something that he's always done?
That's
Or
all he did.
He's always done?
Always.
And taught. He taught music at the Conservatory of Music in Beirut, Lebanon. So he teacher, writer, player, singer, composer.
When he was a kid, he was always banging on instruments. He was always banging on pots and pans and things like that. And he annoyed his mom.
Actually, he annoyed the priests in the church.
He annoyed the priests.
Because his father would take him to the church, and then they would be singing, you know, in the church. He would use the beats that might fit those songs. They kicked him out of the church, of course.
His mom told his dad, please, just go buy him an instrument.
Yeah.
Instead of banging on the pots and pans, just go buy him an instrument.
Yeah.
So he went and he bought him an oud.
I wish my
And
dad
according
did that.
to, you know, it was a cheap oud, but he bought him an oud, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And he owes it all to his mom. That's why he's got you know, quite a few songs basically about his mom. You know.
We're gonna play with Nick, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Now this song, okay, لما بدأ يتثنى. I'm gonna do a little explanation about it here. Okay. Where is it?
You came late. We did not do any introduction. My name is Isa. This is Basim. This is Nick. This is Ali. This is Nasser. Who are you?
I'm Obarna.
Obarna.
Barna.
P-A-R-N. Okay.
And I'm
Asta. And where are you from?
Originally from Nepal.
Nepal. Nice to meet you.
لما بدأ يتثنى, which means as she sways, was written back during the time of the Andalusian period of Spain. And it was written by, according to several articles, it was written by Ziriat, which he was a famous, he had many titles. He was a musician, he was an architect, he was a fashion designer, he taught etiquette to people and stuff like that. And the genre of music, which was back at that time, and it's still even popular today, is called morsha. It was a certain style of music that even till today, like for example in Morocco, in Algeria, and Tunisia, and these places, they play this style of music.
How do you spell it?
M-U-A-W-A-S-H-A-H. Morsha, yeah. It's still played, like I said, in these North African countries. It's a genre of secular music that was from the Andalusian Moorish Spain, believed to have been written by Ziryab, a famous Arab musician. It's in the scale of what they call Nahawand, which is equivalent to the B-flat major scale.
Is that true story, Nick?
This is this is funny because I was just one of my buddies, a beautiful guitar player here in Cincinnati, Brandon Scott Coleman. I don't know if you've heard of him yet. But
Who's that?
Brandon Scott Coleman. He's a very
Brandon Scott Coleman.
Yeah, he's a very talented jazz musician, and he's watching you guys.
Oh, is he?
And he just asked, well, we'd love to hear about some different Makam Turkish scales and traditional ornamentation and melodies. So I guess you were just answering that question.
Exactly.
Nahawand is the name of a city near my hometown.
What's that?
Nahawand.
Nahawand,
That
yeah.
makes sense. See, Nahawand is not an Arabic word; it's a Persian word. So here you go. Came from
But
Persia.
it's actually, that's interesting. I knew that Nahawand is a maqam in,
Yeah.
Maqam.
in Arabic music,
Yeah.
but in Persian music, we
Persian
don't
music
use
as well,
Nahawand.
yeah.
Watch how that is intertwined. Maqam in Arabic is the same as maqam in Persian, which is a
Persian.
key.
And Turkish too, makam. They say makam. Yeah.
Is a key.
It's a key. It's a music scale.
It's a music scale.
So that's the
And
that's
actually,
the
in
translation.
Farsi, we use Nahawand for something
Yeah.
else. Instead of Nahawand, we use Dast God, which Dast God is like, I don't know how to put it, like a tool or mechanism.
Yeah.
That's Maqam is referred to like mostly like that spiritual music. The pieces of the spiritual music they play, they are called maqams.
Yes.
And it wasn't actually referred to the keys.
Yeah.
Actually, maqam can be in any key.
Gotcha.
Makam,
is
yeah.
like piece of melody.
It's a number
But it's- I
of
mean, of
different
course it's-
keys. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
Nahawand is a
Nahawand,
Persian
yeah.
key.
Yeah.
All right. so-
Nahavand. I think you guys pronounce it Nahavand or something.
Nahawand,
Nahawand, yeah.
Nahawand is like a city. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's-
Nahavand, right? Nahavand. Nahavand or Nahawand?
Nahawand.
Nahavand. You don't know your
Ready?
alphabet,
What is
for
it?
God's
Go ahead and
sake.
play. Let's go ahead and play.
are you guys going to do any singing tonight?
Singing? Oh my gosh.
It depends on the level of drinking.
If I sing, I think every one of you is going to run out of this. You're going to run out of here.
I heard you sing last
I can't sing if my life depended on it.
I cry each time Bassem sings. I beg him to stop.
I want to go to the bathroom every time you want to sing.
Maybe you can sing it.
There you go.
I don't need any Arabic. But I know what's the one, there's one saying that Allah says. It's like, Minayuni.
What's that?
Minayuni, yeah.
Like, it's like of course. Like,
Of course, yeah, yes.
Minayuni. I think that's great.
Nayuni?
You can take it from my
Yeah.
eyes. Yes, that's what it means.
I love that.
Nayuni.
Minayuni.
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 Yeah.
Minayuni.
From.
From my eyes. So sure.
Minayuni, yeah.
When you ask, for example, when he asks you for Oud, you have to say Minayuni. You can take it from my eyes,
Yeah.
baby.
It's like the ultimate compliment.
We use the we have the exact translation in Farsi. It's called like Beriya Chashmi, like under my eyes.
Yeah, look at
It's
that.
Like okay, like certainly for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You see, that's the difference between our cultures. I mean,
Yeah.
you're saying from my eyes, and you're saying on my eyes. We're saying from my eyes, and that's why we've always been in war. Or they war with each other.
Or the other expression is
War. That's why we cannot settle this issue.
or the other expression is ala rasi wa aini. Well, like for example,
This
if
is
you
fun.
ask of me or something, and I say ala rasi wa aini, on my head, on my eyes,
There you
I will
go.
do it.
That's of Persian origin.
So that's like,
My
that's like
command.
a cross my heart
Yeah.
type of American.
Yeah.
Cross my heart,
Yeah.
equivalent.
Okay.
Which one is stronger, Minayuni or the other one?
Ala rasi wa aini.
Minayuni. No, Minayuni is stronger. Yeah, meaning you can take. Okay, can I borrow a piece of bread? Back in the old days, Minayuni, meaning you can take that piece of bread from my eyes. Look how freaking so much exaggeration in this. You're gonna take the piece of bread from my eyes? Come on, this is bullshit, man. Oh shit, we are live, aren't we?
It's all like
It was like cursing is allowed. Yes, like cursing. Can you believe that? Emotional, right? Too emotional, too. Take it from my eyes.
We should have let it's also in
Cross my heart here. Cross my heart. Look at that. That's even,
Cross my heart
So
with
that's
you.
the problem is that is the older saying, the common American saying is of course, which
Yeah.
says as a matter of
Yeah.
course.
as a
Like,
matter of, yeah.
just so English
Deep,
and boring and no.
No, not deep.
It's not beautiful. Whereas like of my eyes is like of course. I mean, it's
Well, cross my heart, that means the end of me, because if the heart goes, you go.
Yeah.
But the eyes, you get blind, you stay alive still, right?
so it's Latin.
Yeah.
Now you know where I get my fire to Latin.
You know what? Yes.
This is the second one, right? And here's the.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick, that's where you come in. We're going to play
All
your
right, now
second song.
in this
right
next song, it's a modern, like an early 20th century song. It was written by an Egyptian musician. His name is Sayyid Darwish. Sayyid Darwish, he didn't last too long. His musical career only lasted about 10 years before he died. He was a young man when he died. But what he did to Arabic music, nobody has ever done that before him. He basically freed music to the masses that wasn't available to them before. He wrote sophisticated, quality music, and he performed it to the masses. When before him, it was only reserved to the elites and to the monarchs and so forth.
High class.
So he wrote very creative music, and he performed it to the masses. He was a revolutionary. He was against the British rule of Egypt. He sang about. He tried to stay away because before him, there was a lot of Turkish, Ottoman musical influences in Egypt. He tried to stay away from that. He said that we need to focus on Egyptian music. So he wrote music that was about Egypt, about nationalism, about basically the love of the peasant farmer's life, and so forth. So this song is called In Helwadi, which
Is that what we're playing?
yeah, In Helwadi.
Okay.
What does that mean? Yeah, I sent him that. I sent
You
that
have
one
this,
to you.
but let's just agree on
Yeah.
the tune, because you told me a different song.
No.
Let's agree on the tune.
Helwadi.
Helwadi? Okay.
Yeah. Helwadi.
Two pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning, it means this beautiful one, this beautiful
Yeah.
lady that is just showing up. Helwadi. Okay. She's making bread and food for. No, it's a peasant base. Again.
Peasant-based
Peasant
lifestyle.
Lifestyle,
You know.
nothing high society. Remember, he rebelled against the elite and high class. That the art only was for them, the music was dedicated for them. So he switched this, and so he's just saying that this beautiful lady right now is cooking and making bread for her family, and then milking the cow, and then the rooster is making a noise. What kind of noise we don't know. So so it's just
But the music, the songs that he wrote, he started out, I think he was around 19, he died when he was 30 or 31.
Yeah.
Till today, his songs are performed.
Yes. And Marcel adored him.
Yeah.
He rearranged 6 of his songs.
Yeah.
So that tells you something.
How long ago was
That was in the early 1920s.
So this
You
would
mean
be
Marcel rearranged?
the
Said the Rish
Said the
Yeah.
Rouge? He's
in the early 1920s.
So he's like the Arabic Stephen Foster.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yes. Reformer. He was a reformer for the masses. This art, these songs should be for the masses, not only restricted for the Trump and his family. Did I say that word? No, that's not.
I think
Like cursing.
now this scale in Arabic they call it the scale of Hijaz, and it has 2 flats and a sharp in it. I think I
I'll be
sent that
getting
one
called
to
by
you.
the FBI tonight. I think I'll be getting a phone call by the FBI tonight.
You ready?
I have numerous dreams where I slap him in the face.
Hey!
So we're all gonna get
You already talking about punching him in the face often. So.
All right. What about you, Chris?
What?
Are you a Trump's fan?
Oh no.
All right.
You're all reasonable people in this room.
We can make fun of him as much as we want here.
There's only Facebook Live to hear.
Okay. Come on back.
does it have like a oud and like only drums?
Actually, no. It
It's
has
singing.
more.
It's singing.
Singing, oud, drums,
Yeah.
violin,
Singing, yeah.
guitar, everything.
Now,
You like that
what
piece?
you should also
like
do
the
is
instrumental,
the
this
note.
what you do is like
So, wait, we're gonna do more, Ali. We're gonna do more. Wait, just wait. You like that?
Please send me this piece.
I will.
And what is the name of that piece one more time?
It's Hilwadini. This beautiful one
This
is
beautiful
making
one.
bread right now and milking the cow. And in the background, the rooster is.
It was written by
making
Sayyid
noise.
Darwish.
Yeah,
in the
that's the
early
reformer. That's
part of the 20th century Egyptian guy.
And who the piece that you want to send me? Who's singing?
It's a Marcel Khalifa band.
We could do it,
It's
yeah.
really- yeah.
Yeah, I could send it. Let's just let's also play "Dreamy Sunrise."
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's just warm up this bad boy. See, the humidity today is very. Let's see. This is.
This song was also written by Sayyid Darwish, and it's in a major scale.
By the same guy.
Same guy. And this song also, it's about a farmer's life, and he's singing about, it's called Dreamy Sunrise. He's talking about waking up in the morning, basically, doing their day-to-day chores, and the roosters waking up, and,
Rooster is always the big
Yeah.
bad boy player there. So,
Hey,
Do you have the theory about how? So you started out on guitar, and
Yeah.
then you picked up the oud and you just connected to it. Do you have
I
a-
connected to it, yeah.
But do you have a theory about why that was so much more so for you? Than
Yeah, it
guitar?
was, because at that time, I wanted to try to connect to more or less with my Arabic culture.
Right.
And I thought at that time I was sort of getting disconnected from it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw this as like a crutch, that this way I can connect back to it again,
Yeah.
And even though, people would tell me, don't leave the guitar, don't leave the guitar. But I just said, I'm going to stick with the oud. But later on in life, as a matter of fact, I've been telling my son, I wish I could leave the damn guitar. I wish I would have kept both of them, just to play both.
So you can come down here and play both.
there you go.
I could, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it every 3 years, for God's sake.
Right?
You do it every 3 weeks.
When was the last time you guys were here?
3 years ago,
3 years
probably
ago,
even more.
yeah.
Probably 4 years ago. Probably 4 years ago.
That was so fast.
Yeah.
So
Probably more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, it was 2015 because I
2015, 3 years
because
ago.
I found a photo of you guys together, so I could put it on.
I was much more sexier and younger back then. Right? Is it that?
No, sexier than me. That's what happened.
Yeah, but Bassem did not tell you the whole truth. The reason he switched from the guitar to the oud, it has to do with drugs. He got very deeply involved with drugs.
What the hell are you getting at, man? I think
Master, you did not hear any of this,
high. This guy is getting high over here. Keep the beer away from him. Keep the beer away from
What's
him.
the next songs, brother? What's the next song?
What's the next song? We are going to talk a little bit now about Mr. Marcel Khalifa here.
Okay.
Well, hold on a second. Let's
Does
go on
anyone
here.
need another beer while you're...
Oh, we're good.
Before we do about that, now one of the popular things about Middle Eastern music is what they call tegasim. Teksim. Okay. Tegasim is improvisation, and a lot of times, I mean, improvisation will come prior to a song, and it can also come like in between a song. And it's just, you know, the musician will take a scale and just improvise around that scale. Sometimes, like for example, maybe the entire piece would just be improvisation. You know, I mean, today improvisation, you know, like for example, jazz. Jazz means improvisation. But if you want to talk about it, I mean, improvisation goes back over 5,000 years. I could do it like a demonstration over here in the scale of Bayat. Bayat has 2 quarter tones on it. And here's the scale.
Do you have that scale? Bayat?
It's probably, yes, I'm sure we shared.
Yeah.
It's just,
Do you recognize the quarter tone?
Yeah.
it's very similar to Bayat chord. Farsi.
What is it?
Bayat chord.
Did you hear?
What's that again?
Chord Bayat chord.
Bayat.
Bayat. The chord, that's where it came.
Yeah.
Bayat.
Very similar. Because we have 2 Bayats in Farsi, Bayat
Yeah.
chord and Bayat chord.
Wow.
This one is
See?
Bayat chord, which is like
Bayat,
really
There you go.
Hasin and like
It's very sad. It's very passionate.
sad.
Yeah.
It's very passionate. It's like the saddest like key in Persian music, I'd say.
Yeah.
Most of
Yeah.
the like more
The
names
names.
and
Amazing that the names are identical.
that's exactly what it's doing.
That's where it's going.
Now this is all in the key of Bayat. Another scale that has also the quarter tone is they call Rast. Now the Bayat started on the D over here. Rast starts on the C.
Something called rust.
We have Ross Panjula, but I don't think it's the same thing. Well, yeah. Or Ross is it? I'm not sure. It's not an Arabic word. Ross means
Rust.
right. Right in Farsi, right.
Right.
It's rust.
Yeah.
Rast,
Correct.
yeah. Yeah.
It's rust.
I don't think it's Arabic word either.
But the rust in the Middle Eastern music starts on the C. The Bayat starts on D. But it still has two quarter tones in it. It's like you're playing Bayat, but instead of D, you're playing it on C.
Yeah, I understand. I just need to see which Persian. That's the.
I'm gonna take off. There you go.
No, Nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice meeting you.
Have a good one, buddy.
It's very beautiful.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Good to see you, Chris.
We're hoping that you'll bring pizza before you go, but you know. Pizza. I'm kidding. We'll call Trump. Yeah, he'll deliver it.
Yes. All right. Now we're gonna go into Marcel Khalifa. All right. Now the song. Marcel Khalifa was a very creative Lebanese musician and a oud player. What he did, a lot of musicians did not do before him. Maybe a few, but he infused classical, Latin, waltz, and different other styles into his music. As a matter of fact, he's got several pieces of music that has the word waltz in it before the actual name. Now, this song is called "Dance of the Brides," and it's in the scale of what they call in Arabic the bouslig, which has one flat. It's a B flat.
Dance
All right.
of the Brides.
Dance
right?
of the Brides.
Dance of the Brides. I remember on different CDs, he named it differently.
Yeah.
One time he called it Dance of the Bride, the other time he called it Dance of the...
What? It was always Dance.
No, Dance of the... He called it twice. Dance of the... What's the opposite of bride, for God's sakes? Escaped me.
Divorcee.
No, the divorcee. Hey.
Dance of the groom?
Dance of the groom. He called it one time Dance of the groom. For God's sakes, don't go there. It's like about divorce.
Bride, groom.
Groom.
You asked me for the opposite
Yeah,
of
for that.
bride.
The opposite of bride, you're right, divorcee. Yeah. No, it's seriously, he called it twice. He called it, and they got offended, you know, and he named it that. You know, the public said, "Why the bride? What about the groom?" So he named it, you know, two different ways: the groom or the bride. To be fair.
أيوة.
Good.
يا بحرية.
Let's do. Actually, you mentioned waltz.
The waltz.
Can we do the waltz with Marcel?
We'll do the waltz.
Okay.
Even though, you know, if I screw up a little bit, but
I'm
that's
used
all
to
right.
that. I'm used to that. That's okay. Now listen to this, Nick. You're gonna love that. Take your time, buddy. guitar waltz.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Is that a very old tune?
No,
Actually,
that's by
Marcelo.
Marcel Khalifa.
That's Marcelo.
That's
He
good.
wrote it, yeah.
Right there.
That's very
You
cool.
see the repetition and the waltz,
Yeah.
probably on the style of the.
It's a very sophisticated piece.
Yeah.
You recognize that. I thought you would love it.
He's got a piece called, this is called the Toy Waltz. He's got a piece called the Prayer Waltz, where he mixes like Christian and Islamic and other, different types of prayer music all wrapped into one.
He calls it Khomeini, by the way. It's religious, isn't it? You would love that, Ali.
So, well, before we bow to the Facebook Live, have either of you gotten any advice or information about music that like stuck with you, like through as you're learning and developing, like something that just meant a lot to you that you would want other people to experience as well?
Well, I mean,
that's a
You
loaded
will
one.
find to begin with.
I was expecting that.
I would say that the only information, I don't recall getting information that really did stick with me. But the only thing that I would say is that follow with whatever it is that you're doing, and do it with your own passion. There was this there's this other oud player. He's out of Washington D.C. and he's he's really created a name for himself. But he was advising when you perform, because the public is not aware of the quarter tone, stay away from the quarter tone, because he was having a difficult time with that. But to me, I say, constantly keep exposing it, because nowadays you find, if you go to YouTube right now and type in microtonal guitars, there's so many people just doing experimentations on microtonal guitars. People want to go out and just to try to hear something different.
Yeah.
That's why, like for example, you've got Robert Plant. When he was with Jimmy Page and he did that 1/4.
Kashmir.
It was a Kashmir, but it was that entire CD with the Egyptian band.
That's where he introduced quarter tone.
And just recently, he came out with a new CD with his current band. It's called the Sensational Space Shifters. It's called, I forget the name of it, but it was a very heavily Middle Eastern piece. Carry Fire.
Carry Fire.
Carry Fire. And you also have Sting when he did a duet with the Algerian singer Shabmami. A lot of people want to hear something different. So I just say, just go and just do something different.
Do it with passion.
One
I like that.
of my friends and students here, a really good guitar player named Tom Willis, we were talking about microtonal stuff,
Yeah.
orchestral stuff. He found this band on YouTube called like King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard or something like that. It's really
King
bizarre.
Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard.
Yeah, and it's like a kind of like groovy rock band, but it's all
Yeah.
like with microtones, with quarter tone stuff, and they put out like an album a month because it's like
Yeah.
it's like an experiment. So I put it on like I just put it on like I practice and like listen to 2 hours of it,
Yeah.
and it's pretty cool. But I started to hear it was the first time that I could hear the quarter tone for
Yeah.
just music and rather than something like intellectual that I can spot
Yeah.
spot the quarter tone. That must be what it is. So like for the tempered scale,
Yeah.
that half step
Yeah.
that resolves
Yeah.
us into
Yeah.
into tonic, I started to feel the quarter tone as a more severe version
Yeah.
of that.
If you go to YouTube, just do a search for there's a Turkish musician. His name is Tolgahan Çoglu, and he's got guitars with extra frets in there that he had specifically designed. They look weird, basically, but he plays a great guitar on there. But he plays a lot of different quarter tones and everything on there. He has a guitar where you can take the fret and just add like little pieces in there, like for example, a little piece over here where he can play the quarter tone there,
Yeah.
and then he'll knock it and then play something else.
That's wild.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
and you also have that, like I said before, that Jordanian guitar slash oud player, Kaman Musallam. He teamed up with Ibanez, and they built an electric guitar that has extra frets for the quarter tone. And so now, I mean, he plays jazz, he plays Middle Eastern, he plays the oud, he plays the guitar, and he's able to get the quarter tones on there.
Every time you mention something new, I know the conversation I'm having tomorrow morning with Nick. Like,
Can I get?
I think I need that.
I gotta get that Ibanez guitar.
And then we always ask, best gig, worst gig.
Huh?
What's the best gig you've ever had? What's the worst gig you've ever had?
Best gig? The best gig that we've had was when we performed at the the Cincinnati Art Museum.
Hey, I remember that.
Yeah.
That was
Those were Wednesdays as well.
Yeah.
That was on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had a worse gig. I mean, actually the last gig that we had,
Yeah,
where we
we're not
performed
good.
in front of a big crowd, was at the Southgate House. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What
The
were you
worst,
playing?
the worst gig was when I was not
Right
playing.
over here. When
I was
you
not
were-
playing with them, so it was the worst gig.
Well, any more questions?
No.
Practice, 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 practice.
Yeah.
Practice, practice.
Is that your advice?
That's my advice. That's the advice that I received. That's the advice that got confirmed million times.
Yeah.
Practice, practice,
So
practice,
do it
practice.
with passion and
Do
practice.
it, yeah, absolutely. When you practice it, you end up practicing it with passion. It becomes part of you.
Exactly. I mean, if you don't have the passion for it, then the practice becomes a drag.
Yeah.
You know.
So practice, practice.
You have
So
to. You have
once
to want.
every 3 years, that's not
You have
practice.
to
thing.
want. You have to have that desire.
I think that's a message. I got it.
Yeah, telepathy, buddy, telepathy.
Thank you guys so much for
Oh,
being here.
we had a blast. Thank you.